Thank you for joining us on our Let's Talk Benefits webinar series. This morning, as I mentioned, we are going over our True Hearing benefits. So, yeah, really happy to have one of our vendors. We actually have Cora Harrinman from TruHearing here to present and to talk about this benefit for you and explain how the benefit works and how you can take advantage of it and answer any questions that you may have. So, Cora, I'm going to pass it over to you and I'll let you know when we have any questions.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Elisa. Well, I wanted to start by just thanking you all for joining us today. As Elisa mentioned, my name's Cora Harriman. I am one of the directors of account management at TruHearing. And at TruHearing, we know that good hearing is really important to your overall health. And so that is why Western Health Advantage provides you with a hearing benefit through TruHearing. So whether you have hearing loss or you think you may have hearing loss, or maybe you're just simply exploring your benefits, that's why we're here today. And we want to be here with you every step of the way. So we like to start by talking a little bit about how common hearing loss actually is. Age-related hearing loss is something that impacts the vast majority of us. When we hit the age of 60, about 45% of us have some degree of hearing loss. As we reach the age of 70, that goes up to about 68%. And then when you reach where my parents are in their 80s, 89% of us have some hearing loss. So it's a very common health-related issue. And a lot of people, unfortunately, put off addressing it for far too long. So one of the reasons we like to talk about this is because untreated hearing loss is tied into a lot of other health effects that people often aren't aware of. So for example, those who suffer from hearing loss have double the risk of experiencing depression. I'm sure that comes largely from being a little bit more socially isolated, avoiding social situations, from not being able to hear. People with even mild degrees of hearing loss are about almost 1.5 times more likely to experience a fall due to balance issues that are tied in with your hearing. And that risk can certainly increase with the severity of hearing loss. And hearing loss sufferers are also more likely to experience early onset dementia and other types of cognitive decline. So it's certainly something that's important for many reasons. And if you are experiencing that, you're definitely not alone. Have you ever considered how hearing better could affect your health personally? Research shows that hearing loss plays a major role in our physical and mental well-being. So simply put, better hearing is good for both your body and your brain. It helps keep our minds sharp. It helps us be connected to our loved ones, and it can help keep us alert and improve our balance. Your Western Health Advantage plan includes hearing aid coverage through TruHearing. And this means that you can save thousands on hearing aids and hear better than ever. When you call TruHearing, the first thing we do is pair you with one of our local TruHearing providers. And we have over 7,200 nationwide. Those providers give you the care that you need. TruHearing has the largest network of providers nationwide. We work with both audiologists and hearing instrument specialists. When you call us, we start by learning more about your hearing needs and finding the best option for you. And then we take the extra care in actually setting up and scheduling that initial appointment for your hearing exam rather than having you contact the provider directly. So we'll talk about that in a little more detail here in a minute. The TruHearing program includes 3 simple steps. It starts with a call, then you go in for your first visit for a hearing exam, and then you have lots of follow-up care available to you. So we're going to walk through all of the steps in detail. But when you call TruHearing, you'll speak with one of our helpful hearing consultants. And that consultant, that agent, will work with you directly throughout your experience. So you will receive their direct contact information, their phone number, their email address, and you'll be able to reconnect with them directly whenever you like. I know for me personally, that's one of my favorite parts of our program because none of us like to call into a call center and have to start over with somebody new every time we call. So it's really nice to have a dedicated person to help you who you can get to know. So first, your hearing consultant will look up your choice of convenient providers near you. And there's several options available. Our network in California statewide is very robust. And they will actually schedule your first hearing appointment. But they can also just simply answer questions you might have about your benefit, about our providers, or about hearing exams. So, for example, if you've never received a hearing exam and this is your first time, they can certainly help prepare you for your first visit. They also provide directions. They can send you an appointment confirmation. And they also send a reminder, either a phone call or email, whatever you prefer, the day before your appointment. At your first visit, when you go in for your hearing exam, you'll get that comprehensive hearing testing done by the provider. And then they're going to actually go over all the results with you. You get something called an audiogram that is a chart that's going to show the results for both of your ears. And they're going to walk through their findings. If they did detect hearing loss and they feel that hearing aids could help you, they're going to make recommendations that work best for your individual hearing loss profile, but also for your budget and your lifestyle. They want to know how you spend your time in order to make the best recommendation for you as an individual. So they go over all of your available hearing aid options that are a part of your benefit. And that includes lots of different styles, different technology levels, different colors, and they go over all of the cost shares, all the pricing. If you choose to order hearing aids, and there's certainly no pressure to do that. If you just want to go in and get a hearing exam, that we definitely encourage you to do that, to treat it as preventative care. There's no pressure to purchase hearing aids, so don't let that hold you back from going. But if you do choose to order and you're ready to order, you do that right there through the provider. And you would pay your applicable benefit cost share, which you can find in your Western Health Advantage evidence of coverage document. Then the provider will actually order the hearing aids through TruHearing through our system. And then when the hearing aids come in from the manufacturer, they are sent directly to that provider's clinic so that they can then set up an appointment with you to deliver them. And you go in for your next appointment, which is your hearing aid fitting. Now, I did want to mention there's also financing available for those who may need it. We know even with a benefit, the cost of hearing aids can be daunting for many. We do work with both Allegro Credit and Care Credit, and I think actually the two companies might be linked at this point, but both offer no interest plans up to 12 months and extended payment plans up to 60 months for those who qualify. So there's a lot of folks who, for example, already have an established Care Credit account and they choose to use that to kind of help with the cost shares for the hearing aids. So that is available, and the hearing consultant can go over all of those details and paperwork with you. So next, you'll return to the provider to be fitted with your new hearing aids and have those first adjustments made to ensure that you're comfortable and feel confident in your new hearing aids. The provider will train you on everything you need to know in terms of how to use and care for your new hearing aids. So things like making adjustments on your own, cleaning them, how to properly clean them. That's super important to keep hearing aids functioning well. How to change batteries, unless, of course, you choose to purchase one of many rechargeable options that are available under the benefit. Also, how to properly store your hearing aids. This is super important because, as you can imagine, they're very small. And if you've got grandchildren around or dogs, you definitely need to keep them stored and safely put away when you're not wearing them. They'll also go over how to install and how to use the hearing aid app. If you'd like to pair your hearing aids with a smartphone, it's not required for a hearing aid to work. You don't have to have a smartphone. But I will say it's definitely the common preferred way to make adjustments like to volume and settings, and it's just more discreet. So most people prefer to pair their hearing aids with their phone so they don't have to take their hearing aid off. They don't have to mess with tiny controls. and they can easily change volume and settings. So the provider spends a lot of time going over that. And depending on what type of hearing aid you get, all of the manufacturers have an app. So they all work a little bit differently. You'll also receive free aftercare, and that includes 1 full year of follow-up visits with the TruHearing provider. And that's for anything you might need. So additional fine-tuning, maybe you need some adjustments with your fitting, also ongoing education, make sure you're completely satisfied with your hearing aids. So how that works is you get the full 12 months and it starts on the day you actually receive your hearing aids. So once you pick them up, then you've got that full year to go back to the provider as many times as you want without any additional cost. If you're a first-time hearing aid wearer, we encourage you to remember to be very patient with yourself because it can actually take your ears and your brain some time to adjust to hearing sounds through your hearing aid. So all of that can depend on how long you've had hearing loss, the degree of hearing loss that you might have. I like to tell people that putting hearing aids on for the first time is very different from putting glasses on for the first time. You don't instantly just hear everything perfectly. It's a bit of an adjustment process, and wearing your hearing aids consistently and really leaning on your provider for help and what to expect are keys to having success. We know that there is a lot to learn, and that's why we want to be here every step of the way. We know that when you hear better, you feel better. So, Elisa, maybe that's a good spot to just pause and see if anyone has questions so far. Is there anything in the chat or the Q&A?
I don't see any questions here, but I do have some maybe that, that we get a lot from, members that are calling in about this
Sure.
benefit. So maybe, and I think that probably helpful for the folks on the line as well. But so just so we're clear, the first step is we call the TruHearing number and we have a dedicated consultant. And I think you mentioned that would be the primary point of contact going forward. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes. So there's dedicated phone numbers that we provide to Western Health Advantage. So those can be found in your benefit documents, like the EOC I mentioned, evidence of coverage. They're also on information flyers that we provide, the co-branded TruHearing flyer that is probably available to your members. Your website might be another area. So wherever they can find TruHearing contact information, or if, for example, a member had questions about other benefits and they call into your call center, maybe they have some questions on the hearing and they can save that for the end and can be warm transferred directly to TruHearing through your call center. So that's another
Great.
common way that we're connected to members. Yes.
Perfect. And then just in terms of, finding that provider. So your consultant that you end up getting paired with, they'll work with you to find a provider locally that's convenient and, part of the network.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if for whatever reason there isn't somebody local or close by, are there instances where they can see an out-of-network provider?
So that's a great question. So first of all, there isn't out-of-network coverage, but if there was ever a situation where there isn't a provider, say in like a rural area where it wouldn't require a significant distance to drive to
Mm-hmm.
a clinic. We
Mm-hmm.
do have mobile providers. So
Oh, great.
usually a mobile provider, how that works is they have their own clinic, but they are also willing to travel sometimes 1 or 2 days a week. And they have a range of zip codes that they serve. So the hearing consultant has access to all of that. And sometimes for folks, maybe even they have providers near them, but it's difficult to get out of the house for whatever reason. And it would just be easier to have somebody come to them. We definitely have a good, robust number of mobile providers that serve members as well. So they bring all the equipment with them and they can meet either in the home or at another location, and that tends to work well. There's also telehealth options, which are permitted in California just based on provider licensure laws. Usually the way the telehealth works is people generally want to go in at least for their first appointment But then if they just want adjustments done, a lot of times that can be done virtually. And the hearing consultant is also always the point of contact to set something up like that. So there are providers who are very comfortable doing video calls, and they can even push adjustments to the hearing aid through an app. So it's amazing, really, what's
Oh, wow.
possible. And I feel like the last few years of the pandemic really helped make that more like a cleaner process that's a lot more common, just out of necessity, right? So
Yeah, no, that's great. Wow, I didn't know that they were able to do that.
yeah,
And
it's
then
great.
just one other question that occurred to me was, so for all the follow-up visits, should you end up getting fitted for a hearing aid, now all those follow-up visits, is that also coordinated through the consultant or with the provider directly?
Yeah, great question. So generally, the most important is to have the consultant book that very first appointment. And the reason for that is we're able to prepare the provider and prepare the member um, before they go in for that exam. We make sure the provider knows this is a Western Health Advantage member, all of the products and pricing that are available to them as part of their benefit. They're coming through TruHearing, and that way they have a nice, smooth experience. Usually for the fitting, the member is scheduling that directly with the provider. So that's not a problem. Once we've established that relationship, then the member can schedule any follow-up appointments directly. But that doesn't mean they can't also call TruHearing if they want any assistance. The hearing consultants are more than happy to connect them to the clinic. So that happens frequently as well.
Great. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Cora. Hi, this is Eric. I work with Elisa, and I appreciate your input here. A lot of
Sure.
stuff I learned for the very first time about our terrific TruHearing benefit. But I have a question regarding, because I had to jump off the call and came back on.
Sure.
So does a member typically go, because through our traditional benefits on our Advantage plan, we have a hearing exam that's a no cost, per annual, right? So does a member of ours find to make this first call to the consultant based upon that initial visit to maybe just an annual hearing exam? Or can
Yeah.
they just think, okay, I think I have bad hearing, I'm just going to tap into my benefits here and call?
Yeah, so the $0 hearing exam that's annual is part of the benefit. So yes, they call TruHearing or get connected to TruHearing through Western Health Advantage member services, and we schedule that first appointment. It's really important because we want to make sure they are scheduled with an in-network provider, and that provider is fully aware before they go in for that first visit for the exam on the fact that they don't have a cost share and exactly what their benefits are if they choose to purchase hearing aids. Yeah, so the exam and the hearing aids is all part of the benefit, and it all goes through TruHearing.
Okay, so this benefit of an annual hearing exam is not through their primary medical group.
Correct.
It's actually through
Correct.
TruHearing.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
Now
excellent.
there is a difference between this exam, which is called a routine hearing exam, and the traditional Medicare covered hearing exam. The Medicare covered hearing exam is like basically balance testing. It's not designed for the purposes of detecting hearing loss to fit somebody with hearing aids. So if there's other type of health conditions going on, or for example, if they use this hearing benefit and their TruHearing provider does the exam and sees something concerning, they will definitely refer them back to their Western Health Advantage team in order to schedule an appointment, for example, with like an ENT, or maybe they see something that needs a different type of provider. So this exam is called the routine hearing exam, and it's really intended for detecting hearing loss for the purpose of fitting somebody with hearing aids. Does that make
Fantastic.
sense?
It
Yeah.
does. Thank you, Cora.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I have a lot more to share, so maybe we'll continue and we'll have time for more questions here. So if you're not quite ready to take the first step to call TruHearing or go in for a full hearing exam, but you think you might be experiencing hearing loss, there's another tool that you can take in the privacy of your own home, and that is the online hearing screening. So a screening is not the same thing as a full provider given hearing exam, but it does work as a tool to kind of give you a sense of whether you might be experiencing some hearing loss. It's fast, it's free, it's online. It's helped a lot of people find out if they have hearing loss. I've taken it several times myself, and it's very consistent. You can take the screening from the comfort of your own home using a computer, a tablet, a smartphone, and any type of headphones or earbuds. They can be wireless or plugged in. It'll ask you a few questions to calibrate before you get started. So all you really need to do is find a quiet spot, and it takes, roughly 5 minutes or so. You get the results for each ear, and it will show you whether you may have some hearing loss, significant hearing loss, or good hearing. And it gives you the option to click to get some more information and go out to our website. So it's just a nice tool. We started this when the pandemic started, and a lot of people use it, but it's just one more kind of tool to give you insight on whether it might be time to actually call and get a full hearing exam. Oh, and I should have mentioned, you can reach that hearing exam by typing these two URLs into your browser. It's also available on the TruHearing website. So same screening, easy to get to. Now, we talked about this already, but in addition to saving money on the actual really high quality hearing aids through TruHearing and your Western Health Advantage benefit, you also get all of these inclusions. So we talked about how you get the first full year of follow-up visits after purchase with a TruHearing provider. All the hearing aids, regardless of which one you purchase, come with a 3-year full manufacturer warranty for loss and damage. And it also includes a one-time full replacement. So if you lost them or stolen, whatever happens, sometimes people's dogs eat their hearing aids, you've got that full replacement coverage. Now, filing a loss and damage claim can be subject to provider fees because that provider has to then reprogram the new hearing aids, and can also be subject to manufacturer fees for the replacement. But it's still a lot less expensive than if you had to go out and purchase brand new hearing aids. So you do have that protection there. You also get a 60-day trial period to test out your new hearing aids. And I love that because it's still a pretty big purchase, right? And we want people to have time to kind of experience it before they feel fully committed. So you have a full 2 months. And during that 60 days, you could choose to return your hearing aids and get a full refund, or you could maybe exchange them. So if you weren't sure, maybe you thought you wanted an in-the-ear style, custom fit hearing aid, as we call it, but you try that and you decide you don't really like it. I know for me personally, I hate having anything in my ear. So maybe you change your mind and you decide you want to switch to a behind-the-ear style that has more power, for example. You have that 60 days to make an exchange if you'd like to. You also get 80 batteries per hearing aid if you choose a non-rechargeable model. And usually how that works is they'll give you 32 batteries when you pick them up, and that's designed to take you through that 60-day trial period. And then once you hit your 60-day trial period, you receive the additional 48 batteries automatically in the mail. Now, if you burn through your batteries early, that's no problem. All you have to do is call TruHearing and they'll ship you the batteries early. It's not an issue at all. But lots of inclusions that come with the benefits. So hearing aid technology today offers so much more than we could have imagined even 5 or 10 years ago. And your hearing aid benefit gives you access to a range of really high quality hearing aids with the latest technology through TruHearing, but at a much lower cost than what you would spend on the retail market for the same hearing aids. So it saves you out-of-pocket expenses without having to sacrifice quality or features. This slide is really just showing 2 examples of how 2 hearing aid technology levels compare. So in the hearing aid manufacturer industry, there are industry recognized technology levels: basic, standard, advanced, and premium. Those are the industry manufacturer recognized technology levels. These are the 2 highest levels, and I highlight them here because they're the best for the most challenging environments. So when you're in a lot of noise, you're an active person, it gives you all the features and, technology that you need for that hearing aid to perform at its best. They also have a high number of channels. So 32 channels in advanced, 48 channels in premium. Channels are essentially just bands of frequency. So the more channels a hearing aid has, the better fine tuning that provider can do when they're adjusting the hearing aid for an individual. So it makes it very individual, where you're getting, you know, the boosted sound and all of the features where you need it in the frequencies where you might have the hearing loss. So there's just so many options available, but I like to highlight it because one of the things that's very important to TruHearing is always incorporating the latest and greatest technology. So we actually update our hearing aids in our catalog and in our benefit offerings every year as the manufacturers come out with new technology. It's really important to us. There are other vendors out there that sometimes sell older generation hearing aids, and that is just not our model. We always want to bring the latest and greatest to all of our health plans and their members. But ultimately, you and your TruHearing provider will decide which hearing aid is best for you based on your individual hearing loss, your lifestyle, and any other individual needs. So many new hearing aids offer smartphone apps and are connective. That's something we chatted about briefly already. But there's also lots of new e-health features that are available through the app. And this is just talking about the TruHearing app if you buy the TruHearing branded hearing aids, but every manufacturer has their own app and different features available. So it's an easy way and a discreet way to change volume and settings, but it also gives you the ability to have a lot more customization. So you can converse with your provider virtually through the app, and you can even track things like your steps. So I remember back when we all were wearing Fitbits, and now everybody has, you know, the Apple Watches and GoPros and all of those. We all like to get that feedback. So it's really nice to be able to actually do that through your hearing aid as well if you pair it with an app. So tracking calories burned, steps, you can even track how long you can set goals for talk time. You can see how long you've been wearing your hearing aids. So if your provider says, you know, I really want you to make an effort to wear your hearing aids at least, you know, 6 to 8 hours, you'd be able to track that using the app, which is really cool. There's also lots of other features. So lots of hearing aid technology that's designed to help you have a more kind of natural connected lifestyle using hearing aids. These are just highlighting a few. So there's a feature in our hearing aids called own voice processing. And what that does is it allows your own voice to sound more natural in your ear coming in through your hearing aid so that it doesn't sound distorted or too loud. It sounds much more natural. There's also motion and acoustic sensor technology in the hearing aids. And how that works is it automatically adjusts as you're moving around and changing environments. So if you're walking on a busy street and you go into a restaurant and there's a lot of background noise, you don't have to constantly adjust your hearing aids. They can automatically detect the changes in the environment and work to drown out the background noise and heighten the sound of speech that you're trying to hear when you're having conversations. So lots of really awesome state-of-the-art technology that's getting incorporated in today's hearing aids. And then rechargeability. We've talked about that already. Regardless of what benefit you may have, there are plenty of rechargeable devices available in both the premium and advanced technology levels. And it's really popular because most people prefer it. It's just easier. You don't have to worry about changing batteries, ordering batteries. And most of the technology today in rechargeable hearing aids can stream for a full day, up to 20 hours. And you can just plug it in at night when you go to bed and charge it just like you would your smartphone. You know, the latest hearing aids have really been focusing on innovative solutions to the everyday problems that have always existed with hearing aids. And that is things like noisy dynamic hearing environments like parties, restaurants, crowded venues, not being able to distinguish, you know, what's noise versus what's a voice that you're actually trying to understand, and being able to track more than one conversation at a time. That can be really challenging for the older generation hearing aids. You know, and people are just looking for their hearing aids to be able to adapt to those environments so that they feel comfortable wearing them and it's very discreet and they're not having to constantly make adjustments. So the newest technology is really designed to address all of those group settings with a lot of background noise, being able to track multiple conversations, and kind of as you move into one conversation and leave another, just being able to kind of keep up with you. So Did you know that more than 38 million Americans suffer from some degree of hearing loss? So if you think you might be experiencing it, you're definitely not alone. TruHearing is here to help you stay connected to the ones you love. Our goal is to make it as easy as possible for you to treat your hearing loss so that you can get back to living your best life. And I would just say, I've been working at TruHearing going on 8 years now. If I had maybe $1 for every time someone said to me after getting hearing aids, oh, I wish I would have known how life-changing this would have been. I would never have waited so long. I would probably be retiring now because we hear that constantly. And I love hearing all the positive feedback, but people often feel like they waited too long and they believed, in old stigmas around hearing aids, and they realize that they actually feel younger wearing them. So I just share that as an encouragement to you. So to find out more about your hearing aid benefit, we encourage you to refer to your Western Health Advantage evidence of coverage document, the TruHearing information flyer that may be available to you, or simply call TruHearing directly at either of these numbers above. Western Health Advantage can also warm transfer you, as we mentioned. So lots of ways to get in touch with us, and you can certainly call just to ask questions. You don't have to schedule an appointment. There's no pressure. We're just here to help you navigate your benefits and make sure you're aware of everything that's available to you. So with that, I just want to thank you again for joining us today and for being a valued Western Health Advantage member. Are there any new or additional questions, Elisa, that I can help with at this time?
I don't see any questions, but we definitely encourage you if you do have anything that you wanted to ask, please feel free to go ahead and type that in. We can stay on the line for another minute or so just to make sure we do capture all of that. I will say again that Cora, thank you again. Every time you present, I learn something new about the benefits. So,
Good.
um,
Love to hear that.
yeah. So it's a great benefit. We love working with you guys, and definitely our members have been really happy with it. Um, I do want to say that if you do have any follow-up questions, you can reach our sales team here at Western Health Advantage. And our phone number would be 916-246-7494. And you can definitely access, you know, our website at medicare.westernhealth.com. Um, we do have more series, more webinars upcoming about all the different benefits included with your coverage. The next one will be on February 23rd for our benefit, our in-home support benefit, Papa Pals. So if you haven't heard about that or you're curious about that, please go ahead and register from our website. Here's the website where you can go to do that. Um, Again, Cora, I don't see any other questions, so I think you did a great job. Thank you again for joining us, everyone. Thank you, Cora, for that great presentation.
You are
Um,
welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
all right, everyone, have a good rest of your day.
Take care. Bye.